Welcome to yet another episode here at the Debate Circle. We are in the coastal region doing the junior debates. And the motion of the under dissection reads, financial literacy should be mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. I repeat the motion again. Financial literacy should be mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. Proposing and opposing this motion, we have Malindi High School Team A, and opposing this motion, we have Malindi High School Team B. All the best to both team. First speaker, team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
With the fact that I'm short, that won't let me give out my arguments. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Kalama from the Great Malindi High School, and I'm here to firmly propose the motion that say, financial literacy should be mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. First, I would like to ask this question. Do you think our country can be stable if we have leaders who can't handle public funds? And so, I would like to give some of the definition of terms in this motion. Financial literacy. Financial literacy simply means budgeting on how to spend your money disciplined, while mandatory simply means must. And public funds, this is the money being funded by the government to help cater for the needs of the people in the country. And so, I would like to propose this motion with 2 strongly points. First, effective decision making. If these elected leaders are being financially literate, it will enable them to come with realistic budgets to the people of the government so that we can know how is the money being funded to them going through various sectors. And so by doing that, it will prevent misusing of these funds being funded to the government. Secondly, growth and development of the country. According to the World Bank report, the late His Excellency Moi Kibaki, who was an economist by professional, moved the economic from 0.6% GDP to 7%. So that means that he was very concerned and was literate about the economics. And also, he served as a parliament secretary for the treasury and assistant minister of finance, giving him enough profession on financial literate. So that's meaning our country can't be led by a leader who is not financially literate. And so, how do you think, or let me ask a question. How many of you are ready to go to a hospital and be treated by a doctor who has not yet gone for medicine? And that simply means that we as a country can't be led by an elected leader who is not financially literate. And so with those few remarks, I rest my case.
Financial literacy should be made mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your hands if you really do think so. My brother from the proposing side, quote my words, I think you're taking this ship to the wrong direction, but it's time for me to bring it back to the right one. From the Great Malindi High School, my name is Brelen Onyango, and I'm here to strongly oppose the motion that says financial literacy should be made mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. But first, let's get to the definition of terms. Financial literacy. This means that budgeting on how to spend your money, discipline, or simply the state of being eligible. Mandatory, it simply means must. Elected leaders, people who have sought public mandate through popular votes. While public funds means money being funded by the government to help cater the needs of the people in the country. In simple terms, this motion means that these leaders who are handling funds should be taught or should know how to spend or control these finances. But is that so? Firstly, accessibility issues. Let's not assume, but not all politicians come from finance or economic backgrounds. So when it comes to matters handling these finances, it ends up being a huge burden upon them. Moreover, it may also discourage potential leaders who have other expertise. But what are these expertise I'm talking about? It may be lawmaking, policy making, or even governance, from running for office, limiting diversity in elected bodies. In addition to that, we have integrity. Even with the idea on how to control these finances, the so-called leaders who are running over us in this country are being driven by corruption, which is causing a great deal of political mischief. They are employing people who are related with, they have financial literacy in an extent that they illegally use this money to benefit themselves. But what if they would have integrity? Wouldn't this corruption, or would this, what if integrity, instead of financial literacy, integrity would be mandatory? Don't you think that things concerning corruption will come to an end? Allow me to own my seat.
Saying that it will be a burden for the leaders so as to get the knowledge and skills of financial literacy. I'd like to ask, what if the government will offer free training and education to them so as they can get the knowledge? Will you still insist on a point? I go by the name Brandeche from the Great Malindi High School, hereby strongly proposing the motion that says financial literacy should be mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public finance. Allow me to usher my point. Accountability and transparency. Elected leaders are entrusted with managing taxpayers' money. Financial literacy ensures they understand the implications for their decisions on public finances, promoting transparency in budgeting and spending. Also, the citizens, have the rights to know that their funds are managed competently and responsibly. Financially literate leaders can effectively communicate financial decisions and justify expenditures and offering trust and accountability. Allow me to give you an example. The Nairobi governor, Sakaja, who spent millions on billboards. When you go to Nairobi, you will find many billboards showing off his face instead of channeling the amount of money to various sectors like education and health. This is how the financially illiterate leaders lose or mismanage these public funds. They use the public funds for their own benefits instead of looking after their citizens. Also an example of the Isiolo governor, Abdi Guyo, who appeared before the Senate, where it was revealed he spent 1 million Kenyan shillings on a crate of soda. Can you think about this? Is it getting in your minds? 1 million Kenyan shillings on a crate of soda. This governor of Isiolo, Abdi Guyo, is financially literate. He doesn't know how to handle his public funds. Doesn't know how to handle the money. That's why he's just misusing the money like that. So I remain proposing this motion because supporting this motion is as natural as pizza on a Friday night. I rest my case.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Klizwanje from the Great Malindi High School, and I'm here to strongly oppose the motion which says financial literacy should be mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. I would like to defer a point which was said by the first proposer. He said that there is effective decision making. So, how can this decision be effective if there is no group work? As you all know that if there is somewhere where there is group work or group team, there is an effective decision. So, if he works alone, will there be an effective decision there? He had also said that a doctor, one cannot allow himself to be treated with a doctor who is financial literate. Again, how does financial and the skills of a doctor relate? Okay. On my first point, one may be financial literate, yes, but one may lack integrity in himself. One may be not honesty. One may lack humanity. So, if this person or if this leader lacks humanity, how will he be able to cater the needs of his people? Simply humanity is to have feelings towards one's problem. So, if if the people the leader is governing undergo or are in need, and the person is financially literate, yes, but does not have humanity in him, will he be able to cater those needs? He will not. Therefore, no, we don't have to focus much on financial literacy. Yet, a leader, to be called a leader, he must have good qualities, as those have mentioned, like humanity, integrity, honesty. One may be not honest in his work, may be financially literate, yes, but may be not honest. Instead of bringing developments, he may use that money according to his knowledge and use it to benefit for himself. He's knowledgeable, yes, on managing funds, but he might use that knowledge on benefiting for himself using that finance. And to my second point, team competence or teamwork for effective decision making. So for the leader to make a good decision, he might work with other leaders, or he might work with other person. So if all the leaders are financial literate, or if the leader are all financial literate, will they work together really? As if they're all literate, it is when you'll find they're saying that I'm good already in this managing fund, so you can't assist me because I'm good in it already. So then it is when they will end up misusing money. But if they work as a team, it is when they'll come up with effective decisions. I raise my case.
Yeah. In the arena of human life, rewards and honor goes to those who show their good quality. Here goes by the name Shukran Masha from the great Malindi High School, and I am here to strongly propose the motion that says financial literacy should be mandatory to all elected leaders who handle public funds. All elected leaders who handle public funds. Let's dive into the questions. I want to differ with the first speaker from the opposer's side. Yes, just tell us, he's thinking that we are leading the ship to the wrong direction. But, okay, take an example of the one who is driving the ship, maybe driving, yeah? The captain. So, the captain has the knowledge and skills on how to operate the ship. So, if you are a leader and you are dealing with the public funds and you don't have the knowledge and skills on how to handle funds, that means you are going to lead the public into the wrongest direction possible. Arithmetically, you don't know how to handle the public funds. You have also talked about integrity. So, how can integrity involve in finances? We have seen so many leaders going to the religious premises like churches, Muslim, but after all, what we can see as results is that they don't know how to handle funds. Instead, there's a lot corruption in the government, and so and so. So, integrity does not mean that it should be a must for the leaders so that to handle public funds, because as we have said, we can see in those religions, they are evolving in the religions which deals with leader qualifications like integrity, honesty, transparency, and so and so. So you can't lie to us and say that integrity should be the must to the leaders. We are talking about effective decision making. How can you decide on something that you don't understand it? You have to decide on something that you understand it very well. If you don't have the knowledge of finances, you can't decide on them. If you don't know chemistry, you can't do balancing of equations. You can't carry up apparatus that you don't know how to carry them. So if you don't have the financial literacy in you, then it means you can't run. Okay, the example about a doctor treating a person and hence he or she is not literate or he or she is not well skilled is an example to refer that a leader who does not have financial literacy cannot handle money because he does not have those skills on how to manage the money. The doctor does not have the skills on how to treat you. So you can't trust him to allow him to get your body to inject it because he or she is not a professional on that field. So ladies and gentlemen, financial literacy should be mandatory to all. elected leaders who handle public funds. For those few remarks, you'll just allow me to warm my seat. Thank you very much.
My astounded audience, allow me to pull you out of the abyss and into the light. First things first, before we dive into my points, my name is Chris from the Great Malindi High School, and I'm here to oppose the motion that says financial literacy should be made mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. But first, let's talk about, pardon me, I would like to answer a certain question allocated to me by the first speaker. He asked that how can a country rule when the leader isn't financially literate? I would like to say, how many countries have we seen ruling and dominating while the leader isn't financially literate? You can just try something called assistance. You can employ someone, an assistant, to assist you in finances while you deal with more important things like how your country deals with, there's this type of thing where the citizens start opposing you and so on and so forth. So you can just deal with them instead of finances. It's that simple, because I don't see the point where you deal with finances, you deal with everything. What about the others? You might even pull them close to you and give them employment. The third speaker was actually talking about understanding finances. I think I've already answered you, because you don't need to understand finances, you just employ. It's that simple. Allow me to dive into my first point. We are talking about leaders, elected leaders to be in fact. So, what can elected leaders in the 60s, for example, deal with financial literacy? It can be quite hard for them. So we're talking about implementing challenges. I said about leaders in the 60s. Yes, the 60s. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Can anyone answer that question? Oh, sorry, you can't. So, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You need a new dog. One that can assist you, a younger one. An old dog teaching new tricks, that's hard. Implementing financial literacy to a leader over 60s can be hard. How? This leader is used to ruling the country in his own way without financial literacy. Then you just come and give him the bombshell, financial literacy. Do you think it will be easy for him? Because the more he tries using financial literacy and he's not used to it, can even lead to problems like instability, printing of some few monies, like excess printing of money, as a certain leader in Zimbabwe did. So my point is, a leader does not need financial literacy to rule his country as he has citizens. Thank you.
I'm now getting allergic to the fruitless words my fellow opponents are still overfeeding us. Why don't you come to the world of reality while the truth is just prevailing itself? Huh? How do you think our country could be now if the leader leading us could not be literate? Please, can you join us in supporting this motion? Huh? I think you're supposed to join us, because this motion is really, really talking about this country. So, I would like to tell you that, please, don't come here and tell us that a person is not supposed to be literate so that he can handle public funds. So, with those few remarks, thank you.
I still don't get what's the main point to argue over this, while it's easy. Opposing this motion is like selling sunscreen to the Sahara, or it's like chocolate cake. I mean, who doesn't like cake? Please join our side. Together, we bring this circle to the world of truth and facts, instead of confidently standing here and blabbering rumors to our innocent audience. Thank you.
This was exciting. The six of you, this was a well-debated motion. I could feel some energy. Of course, we could have expected more and we wanted more, but You did well. Thank you for both teams. So this motion is talking about financial literacy should be made mandatory for all elected leaders who handle public funds. I would have liked to see from the first speakers who are these elected leaders who handle public funds if we are talking about the context of Kenya. So now, according to your argument, who are these elected leaders? Because some leaders are not in Kenya. AIE holders are the ones who handle public funds. But in your definition, maybe you'd have explained what do you think, because you'd have defined the motion according to what you believe are these leaders who handle public funds. So that would have been good, so that now we understand the rest of your points. Tony Kalama, you came in well, and as you feel the audience, the way it feels you came in with a good start, with some energy. We could see the mastery of language. You had stage presence, which is a good thing for you. You are a good communicator. So you came in with some good points on effective decision making, on reducing misuse of funds, growth and development of the country. And you gave in some good rhetoric questions. So that was very good. And even the conclusion you gave was very good. So congratulations to you. That was a very good debate from you. Brian Deche, you came in as well, also a good communicator. However, I'd have loved you to authenticate examples of these governors as financially literate, because you talked about some governors. How do you authenticate that they are actually financially illiterate? So when you give an example, authenticate it so that now we understand. So you've mentioned Governor so-and-so and he's financial illiterate. Then now you show as to why, then now the consequences of him being financially illiterate. Shukran Maisha, you came in, talked about the need for requisite skills to run a country. You're a confident speaker. For you, I could see you have the stage presence. You have the aura of owning that stage. Now, how do I use that stage presence, that energy, and that the domineering stage presence to now give in more points? And this comes in when you prepare well. You find that you'll have a structured point system of how you'll now explain, and you'll explain your points. To the opposing team, Malindi High Team B, Braylin Onyango, you started off the team well. Both first speakers were very good, equally good. So you came in, you gave in your definitions, you talked about accessibility issues, that some of these leaders don't have this background, so it's not easy to actually train them. So you talked about how we can lose out on actual good leaders because they'll be discouraged. The leaders with other skills will be discouraged to enter elective politics because there is a mandatory requirement to be financially literate. So all the best to both teams. We'll see who wins, who takes the day.